It's January, and at the racing lofts it's a chilly affair, sorting through the birds and choosing which pigeons will be put together to produce my future champion. With a new season ahead of us, I'm actually putting serious thought into my new strategy for building this summer's young bird team. There's always the risk with these flimsy biscuits, isn't it, Rufus? There's a chance you dunk it too much. Be a bit of a professional. Oh, I got it on camera. I was being cocky then, wasn't I? I'm hoping my biscuit flop isn't a sign of things to come, because I've got an ingenious plan. It's upsetting. Right, let's get these birds sorted. Got my book, because we've got some birds now on eggs. So what I've done is I've chosen some birds that I want to breed from. My best birds. Yep, 2 eggs in 1983. Oh, 1 egg in the new pair. That's brilliant. Right, so I've got 4 pairs in there. And 1983's laid both eggs. She was straight on it. She's 2 days in. The others have all got 1 egg each, which I think were laid this morning. Because I don't have a stock loft filled with stock pigeons, I have to breed from my race team to get baby pigeons for my young bird team. The trouble is, I don't really know the likelihood of them breeding good pigeons, because I haven't had chance to test their offspring in races. But I do have a few racers that performed well or have good genes, and so I'm hoping to get double the young racing pigeons from them by fostering their eggs to the unknown entities in the loft next door. A third of the viewers of this channel are over in the UK, the rest of you are all over the world. Australia, New Zealand, Japan, America, Canada, Norway, a few in Belgium, not many in Europe actually. Some snacks. You will have seen on the Pigeon Racer TV channel. It's basically another channel that I set up. More serious pigeon related stuff. This channel's just the fun of racing and my experience in it. With Pigeon Racer TV, I felt like there was a need for it, because a lot of people get their information from video. You know, How to Train Your Pigeon's alright, but I'm not an expert, and that's more just to show people how much fun it can be and how problematic it can be, but there's no real solutions, and I don't want it to be political. Pigeon Racer TV can be as political as we like, and not in a bad way, but in a way of moving the sport forward. And so if you're not from the UK, you probably don't know what the RPRA is, but it's basically our organisation, or our governing body for the majority of England. So there's a big thing coming up, big vote, about how the RPRA is governed, because there's been a problem for years and years with the amount of flyers in the UK. It's just been diminishing every decade. Loads and loads of people are leaving the sport, and there's not enough people getting into the sport. And one argument is that that's because kids don't want to get involved now. They've got PlayStations and phones and all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't necessarily hold water, because in Poland, Romania, China, they've got loads of technology, and yet the sport's growing there. So that tells you that there's something else. And me and Malcolm, we became delegates for our club, and we went down and we voted for these changes to happen, because something's got to change. You know, there's got to be more drive to get people into the sport, into the hobby, because it's a great sport. It can be anyway.
The system that we've got is very, very dated. We've got a lot of older people that do not want to drive anymore. Younger people that have got families. We're on about we can send emails in, but you can't do voting by your phone. It was all right when there was 50 and 60 members in a club. It worked well. Now, 90% of the clubs in this country have got less than 10 members.
That was a close one.
What?
Good job we came down, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Made the difference, didn't it?
Passed, didn't it? By 2 votes.
Yeah.
Our 2 votes.
That's it.
Right. Let's go back. Back at the loft, and buoyed by the prospect of the RPRA being dragged into the 21st century, albeit 25 years late, I roped Archie into manning the camera for the morning. Right, today, Arch, we have to float the eggs We've got 4 pairs of pigeons in there that are our best breeders and racers over the last few years, and so we only want a racing team this year of birds that are from these pairs. We've got a couple of old long distance birds that we're going to let raised chicks in there as well. What we've done is we've paired these up at the same time as letting them sort of run amok, those that are in there. And as these lay eggs, we're going to take the eggs and then float them, put them under the pairs in here, and we'll just discard their eggs. And so what we should end up, and then once we've done that, these will lay more eggs as well, 10 or 12 days later. So what we should have is a round from these that are in there, and then another round from these that are in there. So a maximum of 8 chicks in there and another 8 in there. So we could potentially get 16 from this this system. It's the first time I've done it, and that's just because when we've bred these before, they've actually turned out really well. Right, we've got 2 eggs down there now, which is good, and 2 in there. So I need my notepad so I don't forget who's going where. You know, when I was accusing you of farting earlier, Archie, I think it's the farm. You can smell it. It smells like farm and this muck spreading. Right, so what I've got here is just a quick note. I'll lay this out nicely later, just so I don't forget who's who. So 1983, she went down straight away, laid her first egg on the 27th and 28th, and then Darlow 94 and 1998, the 2 really good birds they are. They laid on the 29th and 31st in the morning, so even in the morning I think. And then we floated those under box 6 and box 7 in section 1, and then we've got section 2 that we can float some under, because I think they'll have laid their second egg today, so that's what we want to check. And then, in fact, I'm going to try these first. We're going to need a good scrape. So the problem with breeding time is the floor gets covered in muck. I'll give them this for now. So it's scraping out, you disturb them. Because I built 2 separate lofts at different times, it means tasks like this are made harder, because I'm moving birds and eggs from building to building. Whereas if I had one big loft with multiple sections and a corridor, all of this would be made much easier. The old switcheroo. Right now, I'm taking away the eggs from the random pairings of my race team and replacing them with the 2 eggs from the pairs of my best birds, which will then be able to lay again and rear their own chicks in a few weeks. There we go. And then just got to feed these in the end there, and that'll be it. Work around the loft steps up around breeding time. I decided to add some straw to help the broody birds build a nest should they want to. They have nest felt liners in their nest bowls, but this helps them feel more comfortable. This is a really good time to get the kids involved too. They can do the simple jobs like watering and feeding. I've found if you keep it fun and non-regimented, it's the best way to get them interested. That and the prospect of winning some cash.
I just tipped all the dirty water out because then they'll have their feathers in, they'll have their poo in. It's important.
I'm about to enter my 4th year racing pigeons. I'm still as interested now as I was when I started, but I find it bemusing how the hobby seems to be an analogy of itself. There's this excitement you feel on race day, staring at the sky on a warm summer's morning, waiting on the birds to return. Things are good, and it's what the sport is about. Then there's the underlying filth in the deep litter, the bits of poo you find under your fingernails after a thorough cleaning out of the loft. Nobody enjoys that bit, but it has to happen to make the loft function properly. It's the messy, nitty-gritty politics. We're always looking for ways to make our pigeons fly faster, our lofts better, and ourselves wiser. To be more successful in the sport and to get maximum enjoyment from it, we put all of this time and effort into improving and streamlining our lofts, yet less so into our sport at large. It's mid-March and the breeding season is in the final stages, so the young birds need to be weaned and parted. Morning, ladies. After today, the Widowhook cock section will be empty of young birds, bar one box, so I can start getting them ready for the first race in April. Now we've got to spread some Easy Chick. So what I've done here is I've put down like a lime Loft white. It's pink actually, this one. I prefer the Loft white actually compared to this. I thought I'd give this a go. It's a bit more expensive, but I don't like it as much. The dust is a bit finer, so it kicks up a little bit easier, and I don't like that. So scrape the floor, put that down, and then put a load of this chick. Now I could just tip it over and drag it out, but I'm doing this slowly so you can see. Obviously some of the birds get a bit fripped by it. Does anybody remember Jesse's diets? Every time I come in and out of this loft, that's exactly what I think about. This week I have mostly been eating chocolate bourbons. For those that didn't grow up on 90s sketch shows, it's back to the serious business of pigeons. So that bird in the bottom there, the eggs in there, they are a bird that we got from King Charles' loft, and he's paired up with one of Charlie's birds. I think that's Charlie's hen in there. I'm not going to get too close to it because they've just hatched out yesterday. So they've had a good feed this morning, these two have anyway, so they should be good for the rest of the day. Come on then. You're a little bit smaller than your nest mate, but I've seen you flapping your wings, you're ready to go. You've been pecking. So these are from what I would say are my stock birds, as in the birds I've tried to get 2 rounds off. I think you are from 1998 and 1994, Darlow 94. Now what should happen is, because we've got hens in here that are feeding, like this one, your mum or your surrogate mum, she's in here, over there, trying to get to you. If these get particularly hungry, then they should still get fed, but they'll also watch the other hens feeding out the trough, and it should get them used to it. So, but we don't want them to get bullied, so I'm going to get a couple more. It's tricky to get this right when the eggs hatched over the course of a month. I don't have a stock loft per se. All of my birds are raised by the race team, and as I'm limited on space, I can't give them as much time as I'd like. Something I'm aiming to address next year, but on the plus side, the plan seems to work. Now, it hasn't been all sunshine, robin redbreasts and ladybirds. In fact, this winter has been a pretty tough one. Warts and all on this channel, it's the only way you can learn from mistakes. Today, we're moving over some of the young birds. They're ready to be weaned So I've got to do a bit of musical chairs really, because there's still two pairs in here nesting, rearing chicks. Two in here, and then there's two in there. Oh, that one doesn't look right. Oh no. That one looks not breathing. Oh dear. Bollocks. It's dead. It is a bit smaller actually than the nest. And its nestmate. Oh, I wonder what's gone on there. No. Right, I'll have a look over it. Because it is smaller than that one. Bollocks.
And it didn't end there, so if you're sensitive, skip forwards a minute.
Wednesday morning, -2 last night. We're having an absolute torrid time of it this year, because I've just come to feed the young birds, or feed all the birds. Got these guys in there, and I've just come to feed the hens and the young birds in this section, and look who's on the floor, dead. Ryan, not Brian. Stiff as a board. I haven't picked her up yet. Just a little bit of material bedding move there, so oh dear, it's bleeding from the mouth. Oh. I wonder if I've done something wrong there. Oh, that's Archie's bird. That's 3 birds dead in the last few weeks, all from weird, different things. Well, I'll tell Archie, but why would she be bleeding from the mouth? On the floor, can't breathe obviously. She's bleeding from the mouth, so she's sort of hemorrhaged. Whether something's got stuck in there. She's choked. But she was appeared perfectly healthy, fine. Flying around the last day. Or, not flying around, she was in the loft, but not been moping around, not been fluffing her feathers up or anything. She's got plenty of weight in her. I wonder if... I'll have a look. Oh, I'm more disappointed about that.
So we've lost 2 chicks. The first was a few weeks prior that appeared to have got in the middle of 2 cocks fighting in the box, and these last 2. I suppose it's important to remember that everything alive today will be dead in the future. Disease, predation, accidents, and sometimes you just don't know. But if you thought bad luck comes in 3s, well, it doesn't today. This beautiful black I got from Noel Callahan's Marley sauce birds looked fine a week ago.
A real issue I've got is this boy here. So he's actually blind. He's gone blind in one eye. Look, he can't see me. He can't see me at all. And he can see me this side. He can't see me, but he can't see me on the other side. Just look. Go right up to his eye. Can't see me. And I suspect he's been pecked. Because he's fit and healthy. He was off it for a couple of days. He sort of sat in the corner, which he would be if he'd just been pecked in the eyeball and went blind. But that's a real shame. That's one of Noel Callahan's birds. It's the only black one I've got. The plan this year was to actually reduce the amount of young birds that I have, because last year I had too many. Here we've got the hens. These are in the young bird section at the moment because I've still got some birds down. It's all chaos this year. I tried to be clever and it's backfired. Here's one habit I've got. I use my hands to shoo the birds. I think that's a mistake. I should have, from the start, I should not. I'm going to try and do that with these young birds. I'm not going to use my hands to shoo them, because then they'll just get used to the fact that every time they see my hands they've got to move away. I'm going to use like a little stick or a paddle or something like that, just so they don't get used to every time they see my hands thinking, oh, I've got to move, and then it's difficult to catch them. Here's the young birds we've got so far, and the dropper, she's up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Only 13. I've still got another 5 in the old bird loft. So they're a good 10 days or 2 weeks, I would say, before I can part them off. I've only actually got 4 of those because one of them is promised to a chap in the Fed. So it's just been, it's not been very good breeding. Some of them laid, some of them didn't, and then the ones that did lay, some were clear eggs, some weren't. It hasn't been a brilliant breeding season. The good news is we've got the cocks in here all flying now. So they've been out this morning, and they'll be going out again later on. They're still not that hungry, so they're still mucking about coming in. I got them in within 30 seconds today, but I'd like them to be a little bit quicker than that. Luckily, John and Noel Callahan, they've offered to breed me, I mean John's in America, but Noel's offered to breed me another 6 young birds. They're long distance birds though, so we won't get the best out of them as young birds. So what will we end up with? Well, I've probably got, what, 13, 14, 15, I've probably got 15 or 16 young birds. It's not going to see me through at the moment, plus the 6 from Noel, so 20, 22. I was aiming for about 26 to 30, because you always lose some off the top of the loft. I do anyway, and then training, lose a few. I might buy a kit of 6 sprinters. If I pull my finger out, I might be able to get that done, and then next year that's all coming down, and I'm just going to put one long loft in, so that it makes it a lot easier in theory for all of this breeding and training and whatever, if I can just teach them all to come into one entrance, whether they're hens or cocks or young birds, and then I can move them around in a corridor.
Finally, the clouds have done a runner and the sun is out to play. With only 3 weeks to go until the first race, it's time for the team of widowhood cocks to stretch their wings.
Right then, boys, it's time for some training. I've done that wrong, haven't I?
Today's training chuck is different to normal because we'll be using some modern tech to track which route the pigeons use to get home.
Come on, boys. Come on. That's it. Yeah. That'll do for now. Keep going or I'll squash your tail. Ah, okay, so I need to go and get the GPS rings, don't I? Those Sky Leader rings. Right. Let's get these rings. I had a brief look at the instructions on these Sky Leader rings, but I don't think it's compatible with my laptop. I've got a MacBook. So I've got the batteries, these are all charged up, ready to go. Here's one of, but Obviously they're rusty because they haven't been flying for, or haven't been racing or training since last year. There you go, he's nice and calm. Christ, you really are. You really are wild, aren't you? Which one are you? Blooming heck. And the one that's just come off. Nest. Is that right? I think so. Tell us exactly what it is that you...
Where am I taking him?
Blythe Services. Right, so I'm in my usual position. In my usual spot at Bawtry, Blythe Services. So I think it's about 11 miles, 12 miles for this first training toss. We've got the guys. I was going to send my dad to do it, but it turns out I forgot to put him on the insurance, so we didn't bother doing it. No, not worth the risk, so I'll get him sorted for next time. So he's going to be back at the loft and let these guys in. I'll give them 10 minutes to get acclimatised and get their bearings, and then we'll let them go in one batch. These GPS rings probably run flat by now because I put them on like 2 hours ago before work, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll get them all back.
The team of Widowhood cocks have been flying around the loft for a few weeks and are looking great, so I was keen to see how they came on this 12-mile flight, which is on the short side for what they could handle for a first trainer of the year. I beat them back, but I wasn't concerned with that. I'm not pushing them just yet. The season is a long one. And while the birds are flying, the rest of the family are sprucing up the garden in anticipation of a glorious summer. Fingers crossed.
You're going to try and get those bits as well? Is that money?
No.
No, what is it?
But what is money from
Piece of rubbish.
Victorian time?
This is going to take 3 times as long as it should because I'm trying to film it. For somebody that owns a tool company, I have surprisingly few tools available to use. Oh, I don't know where they all are. You bugger.
One job I meant to do last year but didn't get round to is to sort a settling cage for the top of the young bird aviary.
Knew these trees would come in handy.
The idea behind this is to give the young birds an opportunity to survey their surroundings from the security of being behind a mesh barrier, allowing them to learn where they live, and so hopefully making it easy for them to return when they're finally free to fly. Of course, I have to reassure the wife that this won't be a permanent addition to the garden.
I'm just putting this on so that for the let the young birds out on the top of the aviary, because that's where they'll be landing. Let them get used to it and be protected from the sparrowhawk for a bit. It won't look very nice, but it's only temporary. Right. Beautiful it is not. It should do the job. You're all right with that, aren't you, Krenza? It's not going to be too much of an eyesore for you. It'll only be up for a few days. It's a beautiful sunny evening. Let the cocks out for a bit. Me and Jasper sat on the deck chairs watching the birds fly around for half an hour. And then we put them away and then noticed a pigeon scrambling on the neighbour's roof, trying to get to the top of the roof. And I zoomed in on my phone and it's got a bloody neck. I think it's been had by the sparrowhawk. So I've got the big camera out because I can't quite make it out with my phone camera. And it's got a yellow ring, which is a yearling, on its left leg. I can't work that out because I've got a few with rings on the left leg, but it's on the neighbour. It don't want to come in. Poor bloody thing. And sparrowhawks. Right, so the settling cage is working. There we go. So obviously the dropper, she knows what she's doing. She's been out there plenty of times, but this is the first time these guys have been out. These are my young birds that I've bred. You see we've got some Northwest Homing Union rings on those. And some RPRA rings. No sign of that pigeon that we saw yesterday. So I'm guessing it's died somewhere because it was in a really bad way. I was hoping it would come down and I'd have a go at trying to nurse it back to life, but it looked in a really bad way. So the idea with this settling cage is these birds now can come out and walk up and down on the top of the aviary, because that's pretty much my landing board, and they'll get used to that. They'll have a look around, they'll get used to that under their feet, they'll get used to going in and out of the bob wires. So I'll call them in for some food and they'll come in there. I'll do that for the next couple of days and then I'll remove that, but I'll make sure they're really hungry before I do. So the day before I remove the settling cage, I'll make sure I don't feed them. I'll just give them a very light bite so that I can get them back in when I want them to. Tomorrow we've got a team of 6 sprinters coming, so looking forward to seeing those. Right, what we'll do, Jazz, is we've got these new birds from TMP breeding. We've got 6 sprinters, or mostly sprinters, so I want to show you them. We've had to keep these separate from our young birds for a week in quarantine. So I'll grab you one and I'll show you what it looks like. Just wait there.
Oh, are these those sprinters?
Yeah, I'm going to get one.
How many sprinters are there?
Luckily for us, after seeing I'd ended up with fewer birds than intended, I was contacted by Jane from TMP Breeding, who offered to send us 6 birds to race this year.
Right.
Whoa, these guys. I get to hold him.
Do you want to hold him?
Yeah.
He's not super tame yet, but the more we hold him and the more we sort of feed him, or her, it's probably a hen this one, then the calmer and more tame it will become. It's not too feisty actually. Do you remember how to hold them? Yeah. So this is was given to us by TMP Breeding. She gave us 6, right? So scissor fingers,
Yeah.
and then thumbs over.
Wait, so I've not got my scissor bits.
All right, do you want to try again?
Scissor bits. Yeah, I think I got the scissors.
Okay, nice and gentle. Don't crush his feathers. It doesn't really know where we are yet, so if this one goes, we'll never get the thing back.
And
Nice,
it's a
right?
lot of money, isn't it?
Well, it's more that it could be a good bird. So once these have been out a bit, then you can hold them. It don't matter if you let go, and then they'll just fly back to the loft. But this one will just disappear. So we've got 6 of these. Jess, see this cage that we put up?
Yeah.
That's to stop the young birds flying off. But now that they're on there, they can have a good look around, see where their surroundings are, and then now that they've been up there for, look, see them looking up. They're looking at something, they've seen something. Oh, they're just crows. They can be on there and the sparrowhawk can't get them. But you know, yesterday I was on the garden and I walked around the back and then I heard a big flap. All birds went shooting up in the air. And then I saw a sparrowhawk just here, about 20 metres over the loft. I think she came down. The problem with doing this is we're basically, every time she comes by, she knows they're here. So it's like a drive-through for her. So we've almost advertised the fact that we've got young birds. Today we're going to let them out and let them have a fly. And hopefully the sparrowhawk won't get them.
Don't feed young birds in young bird section, so like the young birds, I think.
In the young bird loft, the first part is the hens, the old hens. And the second part is this year's young birds.
As I'll be away a few times this season, we decided the boys would be left to keep the team fit and fed. So as an experiment, today we'll find out if they're up to the job.
So what do we need to do?
You got to let all the young birds out for 30 minutes first.
30?
30 minutes, yeah.
All right. Second one is this year's young birds.
I think we just let them out through here, right?
Is this the young birds?
This is the cock section. Pretty sure.
So let out all cocks.
Yeah, let out all cocks for 30 minutes.
Okay. Ready? Open. Now we're giving them a little show. And I'll start having a little fly.
You gotta step back, Jasper, otherwise they're not gonna come out. Right, okay, second one is feed the hens 30 grams per bird.
Get out. Go on.
Jasper, that's not how you do it.
Yeah, it is. Shake
it's
them
not.
away so they get scared and then they fly away.
Right.
I'll close it for you.
Right, you go count how many hens there are, alright? And then go check the time.
These ones.
Yeah.
I told the boys to pretend I wasn't there to ask for help. They had the list and it was up to them to make the decisions, although sometimes it was hard not to step in.
Archie.
Go on.
We need 450
Get.
grams. Go on.
No, go on.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of
Go
here.
on. Jazz, stop. You're just gonna scare them back in.
How are
Go
we
on.
going to get them for you? I've
Right,
always
Jasper,
wanted-
close the thing.
Which thing?
That.
Okay. Just make sure they don't come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, birds. It ain't covered time.
Jazz, it like traps in.
Oh,
You've got to loosen it.
Oh, there. I thought you meant on the other side. Right. Okay. So let's go get 450 grams.
So you said there's 15 hens,
First of
right?
all, then guys have just gone inside that wire. Have
But
they?
those guys have already been in there.
Go, let's go. And this says feed hens 30 grams. What do we need to feed them?
The
Yeah, the
Or be branded.
Right, so what do we
Wait,
need?
which one is it?
This one.
Yeah, but this is the first like here as well. Oh, but that's empty. Okay, it's this one. Right, where's
one
the
is
measuring
empty?
scale? Okay, it's there.
Yes,
Jasper, use this one
okay.
to screw it in and then.
Archie. Need around there.
Unit.
We're going to take one jug first. Right.
So how many? So what's 3 times 15? Need 450.
Need around.
Jasper,
That's just
no, pour it in here.
Not all of it, not all of it. That's 500. God damn it.
There you go.
452. That's pretty good. Found it.
Although the kids are always around the lofts, I rarely let them do anything meaningful with the pigeons. But as I'm hoping one or both decide to take up the sport, I thought letting them have the reins for the day would be worthwhile.
Come on, Archie. Maybe a sparrowhawk got close to him and didn't want to fly.
I'll do the old birds loft. You do the youngs, okay?
Archie, where's the milk?
It's not milk.
Oh, yeah, who has the milk jugs? Oh, wait, the water's already there. That's lucky.
You have to fill that one up though.
Come on, Oh no.
Hey, I've got to come in too.
Alright, okay. For me. Hey, young. Arch, can you close that for me? Because I can't close it from this. Oh, yeah, I can. Don't worry, I'll be alright. You guys are a bit young. You've got all the yellow feathers on you. Especially you. You're really young. Usually.
Whilst Archie, being older and more experienced, took the lead, it was clear Jazz had a particular affinity with the birds as animals.
They've got orange ones. They only have 1 or 2 feathers now, but one of them there had like 10 feathers and it was really small. Must have been brave to go away from its family. Are any of the little ones out? Forget about your pigeon. If they ran away, Daddy would be really cross with me. Right. Wait, we were supposed to empty them, right? I just took mine up with it. They were thirsty.
Hang on a minute, where's the list gone?
The what?
I'll be inside there. Where's the list gone? Oh, here it is. It's got my drawings on the back. Feed hens and chicks. We fed them, right?
Yep. Jasper. Actually, it doesn't matter, I'll do that. You're probably not big enough.
It says feed 30 grams per bird. Don't feed young birds in young bird section. Yeah, okay, we don't need to know that. Section 50 grams per bird inches using bean and wean, whatever that is. Bean and wean, bean and wone, I don't know. Can't read Daddy's handwriting. Daddy says we need to put 50 grams of breed and wean.
I know where it is.
Yeah.
I wonder what this is. What does that say? What does that say? Huh? What does that say?
Breed and wean?
Do you know, put a sprinkle of bird.
Actually, we're doing this one.
Feed hens and chicks and old hens 50 grams per bird. Inches what?
We zeroed, Archie.
I know. So there's 5 birds, so you need 550 grams.
Archie, right?
No, you don't. 5 birds, so it's 250 grams.
Yeah.
That's different. Wrong thing. There we go.
Stop, Archie, let me have a go.
What's it? There you go. You can do the rest.
Thanks, Archie. Put a little of the sprinkle in. $178. 248. What
That'll
is
be
it?
enough. That's fine.
Wait, just give it 2 more sprinkles. Right, how many birds?
Okay, bro.
Ooh.
Yes, that's the right measurement. 250.
Ooh. Don't knock my list, please. There you go. There's some food. Very tasty. Ooh. Don't be loud, Archie. Poor birds.
That's what you get.
What did you do?
Whack the trough. Right, come on. Let's leave Daddy in there.
Yeah. No, Daddy isn't here, is he?
Yeah, Daddy's not here. Bye.
Bye, birdie.
Right, it's been about 15 minutes, so
Yeah, it's good since we locked the loft because Daddy isn't in there, isn't he?
Mummy, we locked Daddy in the loft.
No, we didn't. Daddy isn't here, is he?
Daddy isn't here.
Yes, that's what he told us.
Aye.
Let's just wait
Oh,
for
no, that's
Daddy to
perfect.
come back.
Careful. What are you doing?
Oh,
What are you doing?
I fell over.
Get up, please, off the grass. Get off the grass. What are you coming round this way for?
I just slipped.
You alright? What's he doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
Alright? So keep stepping on that breast and let me know. Okay?
Hey.
Oh my.
Ow. Birds need to be, no listen, I've heard this is it. Birds need to be in the air or in the loft because if they're in the air, because if they're on the loft and not inside it, then a sparrowhawk will come down or a peregrine swoop instead.
Yep. So Jasper gets to get some feed. Yeah, and then just shake it.
Which one do you think?
Any, don't matter.
Both.
It's not like we're actually going to feed them with it. So.
Who minds? Actually, that won't work. Archie, you've got the mini jug.
Mate, you've got to move.
I don't know how much that
Thanks.
piece of paper weighs. Archie, you've got...
I'll do it.
I'm going to do it. Oh my God! Stop tripping me up! Yeah, I'm fine. That one didn't hurt. I only fell over a tiny bit on that one. Can I shake? Can you whistle while I shake?
I'm not very good at whistling.
Just try.
I can't whistle anymore.
Just try.
I'm really bad at it's not actual whistling.
That's fine. That's fine. Try doing the pat that Daddy does. Go.
And I can't actually properly whistle. It's blowing through my teeth. Jazz, you're not even shaking it. It's going.
Okay. Fine. You really want me to show you how I can do it? But yeah, but I can't get over the fence.
Can you not? Have you not got a long
Well, I
leg?
can, but it's a bit, I'm just a bit scared of it wobbling too much.
Bring your chair over here.
Right, I can't. It's stuck into a big wood plank. I can't.
Or you could just move the chair and do that. That nearly dropped on my foot. So, I think we've got to get up earlier in the morning,
Yeah, obviously.
and we've got to know what time we let the cocks out.
Yeah, so we can Daddy can, you know, when Daddy's back, he can get us some GPS watches and we can look at the time.
And I think we should have some sort of timetable so we can know who's doing what and we can just do it more quickly. Like we know what to do, and it should have a sheet each of what your tasks are and what you've got to
And with
do.
our GPS watches, we could set an alarm clock on them so we wake up at the right time.
Yeah.
But what are we going to do about the flying, like the ones who carry on want to fly?
Well, just keep an eye on them while having breakfast and stuff like that. Actually, we could probably have breakfast out here.
Yeah.
Sit on our chairs, have breakfast.
But wouldn't we need
and
a table?
we'd already be dressed. No, we just have it on our laps.
Yeah, we could go to sleep in our clothes.
No, just get dressed in.
Well, I did that once. I went to sleep in a jumper.
Yeah, okay, that's too much information.
Okay. So anyway, forget about sleeping in your clothes.
Right. So, get up, get dressed, make breakfast, come out here, let the cocks out, feed the rest of the birds, and then we'll just.
What are we gonna do about our whistling though? Maybe we could get a whistle.
Yeah, we could do that actually.
Daddy's got a whistle though, hasn't he?
And then we need to work on your whistling because you just scream to a whistle. You go.
No, I do not. I go. Just like Daddy's sound. Daddy, you go.
Our first race of 2025 is just around the corner, and after a breeding season to forget, I've been focusing on getting our team of racing cocks fit for what I hope to be our best season yet. The weather for the last few weeks has been remarkably warm, but we still managed to lose a few yearlings on training tosses, no doubt to the falcons as the birds arrived back in 1s and 2s.
Where's they gone?
Today, it's all about building the team back up for next year, as I'm adding more birds to our young bird loft.
Young birds off darkness. Well, folks, let's get you some sunlight. Some vitamin D.
Don't forget to join the How to Train Your Pigeon Facebook page. Remember to answer all 3 of the questions.
Right, so it's 8:15 in the morning, and today I'm going back down to Cambridge to see Noel Callahan, who I got some long distance birds from last year, and I've still got a bunch of them. They're yearlings this year, and he's bred me another 6 young birds, so they're ready. He rang me this week, said they're ready to go and pick up, so it's a 2-hour drive there. Just about to go and yeah, get some more birds for the loft, because I don't have a huge amount. I managed to win 4 back for the breeder buyer, 2 of which I bred, 2 of which Sean bred. So we are starting to increase, and obviously we've got the birds from Jane. We are starting to increase the amount of birds that we've got. And one of the reasons we haven't got as many is because normally I get some from Charlie, but Charlie's not been super well recently and is struggling a little bit to breed the birds, to look after them. So, you know, he's tried, but he's just struggling too much. So, but we've still got a bunch of Charlie's birds here. So hopefully he'll come down and watch the races on a Saturday. On a Saturday. On a Saturday. Saturday.
Most of the races in my federation suit sprinting pigeons, especially given I'm one of the shortest flyers. The first race is only 51 miles, and I have to wait until race 5 just to break the 150-mile mark. There's actually only 3 races above 300 miles for my entire old bird season. So, whilst I've already started building a longer distance team of birds, logically, the majority of my racing is sprint-based.
How much effort has you put into making these videos look good? Still got to pick up all the dog shit. Everywhere. 7 piles in one night, Rufus. Who else is feeding you?
Today I'm picking up 6 more long distance birds, so in theory I'll have 2 teams for 2 styles of racing.
And as you know, reliability, he's got 7.
He's got 7.
7 national diplomas.
Oh, well, of course, yeah, showed me last time.
What's the number in that one?
This one is C55066.
65. How are you feeling them?
How am I feeling them? Yeah, they're good. More weight than mine. I don't think mine are, I might need to feed mine a little bit more, because I can feel a bit too much breast pain.
That's one thing, I don't care where it gets scattered or not, I have always have the tub after about 10 days, 12 days,
yeah,
the tub up there with them, you know, and then they come out quicker out of the nest with the old ones. And now I haven't fed them this morning because I didn't want them chewing up, but they've obviously had from overnight to feel good on it.
Your birds are very tame. You're from last year, I remember them just being really quite calm.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because it's not, well, I mean, I
Mine are
spend a
bloody
lot of
feral.
time in the loft because of the...
Noel races on the South Road, but once raced the North. Now he concentrates his efforts on races out of France. If I want to get more distance racing, I too will probably have to turn to the South Road. Maybe I'll save that for when I have more free time. Back home at the loft, I show Archie the youngsters. Like last year's Callahan pigeons, we have a selection of birds that he's collected over decades. They all have Marley Westrop blood in them, with descendants of Bricku and Jansen too, though by this point, I'll be calling these Callahans. We've got a nice little blue bar, a tame, friendly red checker, which appears to be characteristic of all the Callahans. Another black which is equally as nice to handle as the last one. And a mix of checkers to finish off.
Oh, 4 degrees. What have we here? Team of racing cocks ready to go training. So the idea with this is getting them into that racing frame of mind, and also I managed to basket these up last night so that I can leave super early this morning. I'm finding actually that training the birds just takes too much time in the morning, especially when you're working. By the time you've got them basketed and loaded and sorted out, so what I've decided to do, and then waiting for them to come back. So what I've done is I haven't fed them last night, because normally they'd get something to eat after their afternoon exercise. And so I'm basically treating today like a race day for them. Hopefully they're hungry and they're ready to come straight back, which will save me time waiting for them all to get in. I'm going to put the clock on and we'll be able to see who is looking like they're going to be sent to the race next weekend. It's only a short one, Weatherby, so it's not far. Oh my god, my back. That basket's very similar to the racing crates that they're in on a race day. So by putting them in there today, it sort of simulates what it's going to be like on race day. And then obviously these are old birds and yearlings, so they've all been in the crates before. It's nothing new for them, but they haven't been in them for 8 months, 9 months, or whatever it is. You know, it gets them used to the drinker and sharing such a small space with other birds overnight. Oh, they're very light, aren't they? Oh shit, yeah, I gotta take the drinkers off. Put it back down.
It's great that the family show an interest in the pigeons and will always spring into action to help out. The price? Well, one of my youngest, Jasper, is what we call a talker.
So like, if you get a big truck with a massive trailer, you could go around the town every single like 2 days to go train other people's birds, and it costs a bit of money to train them. And then like we could get another one, and then me and Mummy could go train the birds, and like we could all go train the birds.
There's a couple of problems with that. One is I don't want to be driving all the time. Like, I hate driving really. Especially, I mean, look here, look, we've got a digger in front of us. Look, this is the problem with driving in the UK.
All of the birds up and away for a 34-mile trainer, and we're quickly back on the road to race them home.
Right, so we're back. We let them go at 9 o'clock. It's 32 miles into a headwind, and it's been 49 minutes. So, too late now, I'm back. Archie was meant to be watching them back, but he was laid on the sofa watching TV.
There were 2 batches of birds that came a few minutes apart. The rest spent the whole day working their way back in singles. Not a great chuck by all accounts. But it's early in the season and there's time yet to get them firing on all cylinders. Six months and no racing, but the wait is now finally over. After putting in the hours for breeding, training and preparing the races, I was looking forward to watching the team fly home on the weekends. But to enjoy the race properly, the garden stadium needed work.
Look at my amazing handiwork. Now the race was postponed. It was meant to be today, but the weather's a bit shit, so it's going tomorrow instead. So what I've got to do now is clean the birds out, because I've been concentrating on getting this concrete path done. The birds haven't been cleaned out for the last few days and it shows. So I put on all my PPE. So it's a good idea to have a mask and also this overcoat. Now if I'm just feeding them or changing the drinker or whatever, I don't bother masking up, but when I'm cleaning them out, I'm in there for a prolonged period and I don't fancy all that bloom in my lungs. I've basically been screwing this board up just to cover this up when I let the hens and cocks out, so they don't see each other when they're coming to land. They cling to this, trying to get to each other rather than going into the trap. So I'm going to talk about this more later on. Right then, boys.
Last year I had good success with racing the cocks on widowhood. This year I'm hoping to send the hens too, and that's a delicate balancing act, so I've been getting used to loft flying the team on the roundabout system.
Also, now we've got no young birds in here, I can take these boxes down and put V-perches back up, or something that stops the hens pairing up. Look how nice that is now. Lovely clean floor. Come on then. Time to do the cocks.
That's one hen ready for the races, but in all seriousness, when I first tried roundabout, I found it too time consuming and the hens could be particularly infuriating.
There's your water. Enjoy it, it's delicious. Right. Here's some droppings for you. Oh, fuck. Right. Can you see that? So that's pretty good. You've got a little bit of down, it's nice and dry droppings, clumped together, a little bit of white urea on the top. What a lot of fanciers will do is they'll look at the droppings and gauge if they've got any issues. So you're looking at how the pigeon flies or doesn't fly, how it sits, how it holds itself, if it's sat fluffed up, head down, droopy eyes and droopy neck, then you know that there's probably an issue. You can also look at the droppings to look if they're runny or discoloured, but looking at the droppings alone doesn't tell you that much, because sometimes if they've just come back from a training toss, for example, and they're hungry, they'll be a bit watery and they can look all sorts of weird. If you forget to feed them in the morning, or you can't feed them in the morning, when you come in the afternoon, there'll be more of a green tinge to it. And that, or everyone always thinks, oh no, illness. Same as if you feed them a load of peas. I've noticed, lots of peas, lots of green poo. Come on then. Come in. Come on. You got a mouthful of feathers. Where's you got a mouthful of feathers? The feather. Got a mouthful of feathers. Come on. They don't seem like they want to come in.
Lately, I've found half the birds will come down 20 minutes after the other half, and the following day they'll swap around. I wonder if this is a drawback to feeding in the trough. Will those that stay out longer today be hungrier tomorrow, and so trap faster?
Nice warm day today, so I've given the birds a bath. At least the cocks, anyway. Ooh.
Whilst the birds dry off from their weekly bath, I'm putting into practice a new ethos in pigeon handling.
So it's time for the birds to go on darkness, and I'm doing my best with my badminton racket to herd them away from where I want them to be without scaring them. So you guys are going to be happy to see my hands. Come on, here we go. Come on then. That's it. Now normally I would use my hands to shoo them. You just then get them used to being scared of your hands. So I'm using this badminton racket. To move them into this section, I've got a shutter on that I can close. Right, we'll top up your water and then turn off your lights, and it's time for bed. We've got to get the hens in there with the cocks. This is going to be pandemonium, isn't it? It's going to be chaos. Because I've got cocks that think they live in the hen section, in those boxes. Hens that think they live in the young bird section. Some hens and cocks that didn't pair up. I reckon... Where's 1998?
1998 is my 3-year-old that always seems to do well. So well, in fact, that I'm going to have to give him a name.
I reckon I can predict the winner today. I'm going to have a go. Right, here we go.
Anyone with a loft knows that being in a confined space with excitable pigeons flapping around is a bit like being whipped in the eyeballs with a tea towel.
You know what's going on, don't you? Here's a yearling cock, one of the Callahan birds. Don't expect him to come back at a rapid rate of knots, really. You're meant to be for like 500 miles, not 50. 15 cocks.
Although I'm planning on sending the hens at some point too, they're not fit enough, having only been loft flown for a couple of weeks. So tomorrow, it's a boys' club. All 15 are going the 51 miles to Wetherby. The day of the race is always the same. Every fancier will look at the sky and comment on the clouds, observe the leaves in the trees, and make a judgment about the wind.
So the birds were let go at 20 past 11 in an east wind. A bit of blue sky now. It's been very cloudy this morning, so I can see why they've held off letting them go. We've got 15 cocks there. I'm pretty confident, actually. Why did I say that? Anyway, let's see. I'm going to put the camera up there so we can see which direction they come from, and hopefully we get all 15 back. So let's see, 5 past 12 now, so they should be due back. If they're doing well, they should be any minute now. Right, we're ready, aren't we, Rufus? Nope, because I need to get the dropper. Right, now we're ready. Bugger off. Food. Someone said to me, you've got months and months and months to plan, and yet everything always seems to be a rush in the last minute. This is my third year, should I say, and it's still the same. 6 minutes past. Let's just sit down and be calm, shall we? Pork pie. Sunshine. Racing pigeons. It's a bloody awful pork pie though. Yeah. I mean, it's an easterly wind, so doesn't favour us, but it's not very far and there's not much wind, so in theory we've got just as much chance as anybody. What's that? Feral. On some of these training sessions I've been stood here and they've come, you know, a foot above the rooftops and I can see them straight down. And that was exciting, even if it was just training. Here we are. He's quite high. Oh no, my nose bleeding. He's quite high, that one. Where's he gone? Hang on, not yet.
I expected a few jittery birds for the first race, but these guys were whizzing around like they were shaking off surface-to-air missiles.
Oh, he's come around again. Maybe I should have sat out of the way. Come on. Oh, for f***'s sake. There's no reason to go around 4 times. Come on. Come on. There we go. That's one. In you go. 1998 would be, wouldn't it? Could have put money on him coming first. Not very quick though, 23 minutes. Yeah. And he did loads of laps. He would normally come straight in, so he's a 3-year-old 2022 bird, so odd that he circled so many times.
A few minutes of nothing, and just as I was manoeuvring my camera, 1908 rocked up. His dad topped the Fed from Anik in 2023, though you wouldn't think it looking at his pace today.
Going in. I think that one came in after 1 lap, so there we go. Experiment successful. 1908. Right, so 13 more waiting. Here we go, 2 more coming straight over the rooftops. That's how they've come in the training. Not coming straight down though.
So far, all the birds were high and flighty.
That's Charlie's Fed winner. And that second, that red one, that's one of the Callahans. $11 still out. Here's another one. Come on, you're going fast. Where's my shaker? I know you're not meant to have favourites, but he is one of my favourites. A beautiful looking bird. He just clocked.
Even though the birds were timing quite late, they were flying around so fast that I could hear the wind whistling through their wings.
Whoa.
They were racing all right, but I suspect they'd gone too far offline before breaking away.
He's landed while I've been up there before. On top of my head, they're all a bit nervous.
I learned in my first year of racing young birds to enjoy the return as much as the result, like a squadron of feathered bombers in a headwind skipping over the rooftops, or a jet fighter diving into view and buzzing the control tower. A stylish arrival is what I want.
Here's another one. Whoa, look at that. Christ, he's going some. Ah, it's a wood pigeon, Dan. Yeah, getting overexcited. That last one came in like a bullet.
Shame he was second from last in the loft. Missing out on the food, mate. I don't think that was too bad a start, really. They were all doing laps, which you kind of expect from 50 miles, 51 miles. There'll be a lot of adrenaline in them, I guess, coming from Wetherby. 1998, first bird back. He's definitely my best bird. That's from Dave Evans. That's the first bird, one of the first birds I got, actually. Let's see where he comes in the club. I don't think we'd do that great in the club, especially seeing as the second bird was several minutes after that. But at that distance, I would like them all to come together, really. Here's another one. Come on.
Right, so this is us, and this is where we raced from today. So, as you can see, we are to the east of the Liberation Point, and I think I'm one of the most easterly lofts in the club. But the race is going to be won by the clubs down here on the sort of west of me, because it was an easterly wind coming down this way, although it wasn't super strong. So next week we are in Darlington, so almost double, not quite, but almost double the distance, and hopefully we'll send the hens to that one as well. Stupid smart. Won the club, 1998. Topped the club again. He's a good bird, he is. Really pleased with that. And when I got back, about an hour later, we got the last bird. So 15 out of 15 today. Really pleased with that. But yeah, well happy with that. Good bird. Right, so I was talking about this the other day, and I wanted to make some modifications to it. Basically, the way I'm racing this year is I'm going to try roundabout, which is basically where you, as far as I'm concerned, you race hens and your cocks, but the way that you train them and when you loft fly is you let the hens out, they do a fly, and then you move the cocks through into their section, and then when the hens come back in, they go into the cock section, you feed them, move them back into theirs when you've let the cocks go. So you sort of like cycle them that way. You can let the cocks go first, some people mix it up, I think. But the problem with doing that is, I found anyways, if I let the hens out in the morning, which is the way that this loft is designed, I have to wait for them to come in before I can let the cocks out, and there's always one or two that just won't come in. And once they've learned that if they don't come in, I'll have to let the cocks out anyway, then they get to play around with the cocks, and so it doesn't work. So but I have to do that with this system. When I first built this loft, I had another trap on here, and I'm going to put that back on so that I can basically choose which birds I want to let out. So I can let the cocks out, they can come back in there, and then when I let the hens out, they can come out here and go back in here, and just get used to that. So that on race day, the hens, they can go in either one, but they'll get used to coming into this trap, and the cocks will get used to going in that trap. The door will be open in the middle anyway, at the end of a race, but I think that's the only way I'm really going to make it work, because if you're working like I am, you just don't, it takes hours, especially if the hens, you know, have a particularly good fly. If you let them out first, the cocks don't get to fly. If I let the cocks out, which I can do, I've then got to move them into this section while I let the hens out to then get, it's just bollocks. So yeah, that's what I'm going to plan to do. So I'm going to build a trap on here. I'm also going to build a blind on it, so that when I do let them out, whoever's in here I can block off. So if the hens are flying, they can't see the cocks in there, and if the cocks are flying, they can't see the hens in here. I think that'll help as well. So that's my project for this weekend coming. Well, I remember there's a Facebook page, How to Train Your Pigeon. If you want to join that, then come along, answer the questions on that. And sometimes I will turn off, I won't let people that have only just set up an account or don't have a profile photo on there, just to try and keep the spammers away. So I know that some people have messaged and said they've answered the questions, so if you've done that, then I'll let them in, but otherwise we've got to try and stop the dodgy accounts getting in.